Hey friends, Power Guy Phoenix here. Happy October. It's October 1st. It's officially spooky season, which I love. Um, and so today I thought Bill and I got a whole bunch of these apples from this lady has an orchard locally. And we've been making all kinds of stuff. Like I made some homemade cider. I probably should have mentioned this when you're making your own cider, it takes a lot of apples just to make a very little bit. That's why cider is so expensive, I guess. But anyway, Bill made apple pie, apple crisp, apple turnover, and today I'm making applesauce to go with our dinner tonight. Um, and it's really easy. You can find a recipe online for homemade applesauce that you make. I have this like mini crock pot. It's cute, right? It's just a little thing. So it makes enough for like, to go with dinner tonight. That's all. It's just the three of us. But I cut up so far like 5 of these apples. You have to the recipe's really easy. It's a cup of water, a cup of sugar, like a teaspoon or a tablespoon of cinnamon. I mean, measurements are kind of whatever you make them. And then you just get the apple and cut the core out and the stems and just sort of peel this, you want to peel the skin off of it. Doesn't have to be perfect. If you miss a little spot, that's okay. And then I just like cut them up into little pieces, just like this. It's all gonna cook and like mush up. So I have this, and you're just gonna slow cook it for a couple hours. Check it every once in a while, maybe give it a little stir if it needs it. And then when it's looking pretty applesaucey, taste it. And if it's sweet enough, then it's good. If it's not sweet enough, you can add a little sugar, a little more sugar. And if it's too sweet, you can add a few maybe a couple drops of lemon juice just to add some tartness to it. But honestly, I don't think there's any such thing as too sweet. I don't have room for this apple. I know it'll cook down, but you just put it on there. I have it on low because that gets pretty hot. So yeah, it's like, I did a cup of water, a cup of sugar. I just dumped cinnamon in, we'll say a tablespoon. And then 5 of these big apples. So use whatever you have, in whatever amounts you want to fill that crock pot. We have a larger crock pot, but I didn't want to make a gallon of applesauce. So yeah, it cooks down. It just makes enough to serve with dinner. And if you like it homemade, it's really good when it's warm. It's really good when it's cold. It's really good mixed with vanilla ice cream. I don't know. I just really like apples. Applesauce. I grew up eating. Anytime we had pork, we had apples. And like in Pennsylvania Dutch homes, it was really common for us to have apple butter and bread with every meal. Every time we had pork, we had some sort of apple with it. Often apples were cooked right in the pork with it, or pork chops. So applesauce, apple fritters, apple butter, those are just like staple things in Pennsylvania Dutch culture, and probably other cultures, I just don't know. But yeah, that's it. So it's like such a perfect thing to make on October 1st. It's very fall-like. I mean, it's apple season. So if you have a local farmer or somebody who, just shows up in your office with a big bucket of apples and says, help yourself, you should definitely help yourself because you can make so many good things out of this. And what's kind of fun about making apple stuff is like all the desserts, it's no matter what you're making, it's all the same ingredients. It's like apple, water, sugar, cinnamon. Sometimes maybe allspice or nutmeg. And those, if you just have those ingredients, you can make applesauce, apple pie, apple turnover, apple cake, whatever. So there you go. So happy October, happy applesauce making, and maybe next time I'll do a video on making apple butter. We'll see if I have any. This is our last apple. So if I get more apples, maybe I'll make some apple butter. That might be fun. But anyway, in powwow news, I don't really have any powwow news today, but that's okay. Although I guess I sort of do. I've been reading books about, well, a book about making sigils. And you know what I mean when I say that, it's like those, the planetary magical squares. You know, and it's all based off of like these Hebrew numbering systems. Probably saying that wrong, but anyway, so I'm experimenting with making various sigils that I can then incorporate into Himmel's briefs, you know, letters of protection, or even drop bags, or of course talismans, which we do in Palo Alto. So once I figure out a way to like show that on the screen, because I don't know how to like show graphics of like magical squares on the screen, so I might have to just have my dry erase board and like show you guys that way. So once I figure out how to do that, I'll do a video on it because they are very easy to do. There's some math involved, so there's like, it's kind of sciencey and magic at the same time. I enjoy them, and if you've never made sigils before, I think you'll enjoy them too. And the cool thing about sigils is they can be like drawn in the air, or obviously drawn onto paper or whatever, drawn on your skin, that sort of thing to gain certain things, you know, like protection or financial, whatever. So anyway, we'll get into that when I get into it, but that's really it. Another rainy day here, but I don't want to complain because so many people were so terribly impacted by the hurricane. And it's awful. I've been following as much news about it as I can. Even in Phoenix line, we have one or two folks who have been impacted in various ways, whether indirectly or directly, or at least are surrounded by those who are, you know, people who've lost their homes and their lives and their pets and, you know, their farms and their businesses. I mean, it's terrible. It's terrible. I never saw that much devastation in our country. Yeah, from one storm. It's really bad. So just keep those people in your prayers. Send some healing vibes their way if you can. If you can make donations, do that too. I recommend finding out the local charities rather than go through like Red Cross, because the Red Cross is great. They do a lot, but it's a trickle down kind of donation. You know, they take off their administrative fees and everything. And, you know, the director of the Red Cross makes like 200 grand a year or something. So again, they do great work, but the money is more needed in local places. So if you really want to help financially, if you're able to, which I mean, I'm not. So I mean, but if you are, I definitely recommend trying to find local charities for people who can use that cash, and they'll use all of it to do what they need to do. So anyway, that's that. So let's pray for all those folks. You know, and it's starting to turn into that colder time of year. So it's just not great for them. I mean, they just feel terrible about it. But anyway, back to the applesauce. All these scraps I'm just going to pitch out into the vegetable garden, you know, and it becomes compost. Try not to get any seeds in your applesauce. You don't want that. That's it. Enjoy it. It's yummy. It's delicious. Makes your house smell like Halloween. And that's it. God bless you guys. Love you. And let me just, we're going to turn this off. And we'll talk again very soon.